Hello everyone, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Audible properly, right?
Yeah, it's all fine.
Yes, audible.
Okay, fine. How was your weekend? Did you guys practice? Anyone have any questions? Have you guys practiced anything?
Yes, as of now, no. Yes, sir.
Okay, no doubts. Fine, just give me a minute. Okay, so let's start then. No one have any doubts, right? Fine. So we left with one topic that is called Route 53, right? And another topics we already have completed. We already have completed with the syllabus. Few topics, small topics, like the in DevOps we have EKS, ECS, right? So all of those things we will see the definitions of this, as well as there is something called secret manager, certificate manager, KMS, right? So these are the small topic. We will see that as well. Okay, we will discuss the definitions of that, because the hands-on we can't see, because in KMS we need to store the key, right? So we are not going to do that. Okay, we are not going to do the hands-on, but we will discuss it. Fine. So give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen. Just a minute. Okay, let me know if it is visible.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, so today we are going to start with the Route 53. Okay, so many terms are there, many things are there that we should know in this Route 53. But the main things we need to know that is DNS. Anyone know what is DNS?
Domain name system server.
Hemant, your voice is not clear, I think.
Domain name system or server.
Yes, its full form is domain name system. What is domain name?
So returning name to the any IP like
Okay.
google.com.
Yes, referring name to the any IP, right? I think Nidhi is not there today. Fine. So basically, first of all, we will discuss about the domain name. So domain name, just like you guys have already heard about many things, like whenever you want to access any application, right? At that time, what you do, you use a domain name. Just like if you want to open Facebook, you will always use facebook.com, right? Whenever you want to access Instagram, you will always use instagram.in. I think it's in. Okay, if you want to open Google, you will always give google.com. So what are these things? These things are nothing but we call it as a domain name. Okay, so basically what is domain? Domain is simply one name which we will use to access our application. Okay, to refer our application server, we will use these kind of domain. Why will use it? See, as you know that if you will deploy your applications in any of the server, either you have to access it using the IP address, right? So now just assume that you have set it up the load balancer, right? So if you will have the load balancer, at that time what you will use? You will use DNS of load balancer. If you have used CloudFront, at that time what you will use? You will use DNS of CloudFront. Let me know, is there any like this DNS or this IP address? Is it easy to remember so that you can access the application every time? No, right? Because this IP address, it's contains some number like it's 11223344 like this. Okay. So basically, if you will see these kind of like IP address will look like this. So it's bit difficult. Like it's very difficult to remember all applications IP address, and it will be not convenient for the user to access your application, right? So because of this reason, what we have some domain name which will be convenient for the user to access it, your application, so that they should not remember any numbers, like they should not remember any IP address. And here, if you will talk about the domain name, this is also the domain name system, like domain name for your load balancer, that we also call it as a DNS. But here also, if you will see, this DNS will contain some alphabet, right, in a random format. Oh, you already have seen this DNS of load balancer, you already have seen the DNS of CloudFront, right? Many people have shared to me. So at that time, if you will see the DNS of CloudFront also, it's bit like it's very difficult to remember this for each of the applications, right? So for that, what we have some domain name specifically which we can create according to our use, like according to our convenient, we can create a domain name, and which will refer our uh, system domain name, or you can say that our IP address, our server IP address, our load balancer domain name. So it can refer to our application. Fine. So this is only the domain name. Now the next thing is that domain name system. So domain name system, it's a system, and basically it's a work, it's resolve your domain name. See, what I said, whenever I will do the facebook.com, what it will do, it will allow you to access the Facebook application, right? But whenever we want to access our application, we need the IP address. At the end, we need IP address, right? Even if you will connect it with the load balancer will knows the IP address, and using the IP address only you can access your application. So now, what this domain name system will do, this domain name system will resolve your domain name, and it will give the IP address. Okay, so whenever you will browse for this facebook.com, what the DNS resolver, there is something called DNS resolver which will resolve your Facebook, like your domain name. Okay, and that is only your domain name system. So basically what this domain name system will do, and it's a part of internet itself, you can say that it's a part of your browser, it's a part of your internet. So this DNS resolver, it will present in your in internet, and what it will do, it will resolve it. It means that it will convert this facebook.com into your IP address. Fine. So it will convert it to the IP address, and then this IP address, this DNS resolver will provide to your browser, okay, to your system, and that using that IP address, that browser will access your application, and that it will show you that application. It will display that application. Okay, so how exactly the browser accessed your application? Using this IP address. How you accessed your application? Using this domain name. You have given the domain name. DNS resolver resolved it and given the IP address to your browser, and browser, using that IP address, browser accessed your application and displayed there. Fine. So this is the process which it used to resolve the domain name. Fine. So DNS is nothing but it's a domain name system which will manage your domain name. Okay, which is going to manage your domain name. That system, we call that as a domain name system. Fine. So here we are going to discuss about the Route 53. So Route 53 also, it's a DNS resolver, one domain name system. Okay, it's a domain name system. So it's have many functionalities. We will discuss about this. Okay, this is one service which provided by the AWS for basically this domain name management. Okay, basically for this domain management, not only the domain name management, so basically for this domain management, this service will provide the domain management. Okay, AWS will provide domain management using this service, Route 53. Fine. So here the 53, it means that it's a port of the DNS. I think many people already know about that. Because of this only, it has given this name Route 53, right? So 53 is the port for your DNS. DNS always run in that port number. Is okay, just by default your Jenkins run in 8080 port number, right? Just like that DNS always run in this 53 port number. That's why it has given this name. Okay, that is the history kind of thing. So just leave it. So in this PPT only, you will get the notes for the Route 53 elastic load balancer auto scaling. Okay, so we already have discussed about the load balancing and auto scaling, right? So let's discuss about the Route 53 now. Okay, so here, if you will see, Route 53 is a highly available and scalable domain name system web service. So it's a web service which is going to provide you the domain name system service. Okay, it's going to manage your domains. Fine. So basically, Route 53 will provide three main functions as it's a old node. So here it not have added one more function. So please note down, it's going to provide you the four main functions. Okay, we will discuss all those four. So it's going to provide the four main functions. Okay, so let's see it. Okay, so the first main function is domain registration, and the second is DNS, like domain resolution. So DNS, domain name system service. Okay. So basically this is domain name system service, DNS service. It's going to provide this as well as it's also going to provide you the health check. We will discuss that as well. And the fourth, it's also going to provide you the routing. Okay, route traffic. This is called route traffic. We will discuss about these four properties and these four facilities of your Route 53. Okay, so let's discuss about first this domain registration. Okay, so now if just assume that I have one application and what I want to give my application name as example.com. I want to use this domain name for me. So have you seen that in email IDs and all many peoples will have at the rate and then the company name and dot com like that and dot in like that, right? So why? Because that specific domain they have purchased it. Okay. So basically if you will see, just assume that what I want this example.com domain name, okay, for my applications. Okay. So now just assume that I want only this one. So now I have taken this domain name and then I have created my DNS server. Okay, and then I'm managing the domain name and I have deployed my application. And this example.com is referring to my application. Okay, and it's a kind of just assume that it's a WhatsApp kind of like WhatsApp application. Okay, and in India or in another country, there is one more person, and he also have decided to give the name the same example.com, and he has created some applications like some shopping application is there, shopping site is there. Okay, so now both having the same domain name, right? So now if any user want to access this particular application, like if they want to open the WhatsApp and they will do example.com, right? So this instead of like routing the traffic to directly this WhatsApp, what this domain name can do, can also like your DNS server also can convert the and provide the IP of this particular application server. So your browser will get confused that to which server we need to send the traffic, to which server we need to display on our browser, right? So basically because of this reason we should register the domain name. Okay, without registering the domain name we cannot use it. Registration of domain name, what it means that you own that domain, you will purchase that domain, Okay, like if I want to use example.com, what I will do, I will purchase the domain, and after purchasing, after purchasing the domain name, I will own that domain name. No one else can use that domain name. Okay, so that we will call it as a domain registration. So what we will do, we will have many domain name registration platform like GoDaddy is there. Okay, we have Freenome, and as well as now the AWS is also providing you the like domain registration platform, that is the Route 53. Okay, so Route 53 also will provide you the domain registration platform where you can register your domain name. If you want example.com, you can go and you can purchase your domain name from the Route 53 dashboard. Okay, just like you have GoDaddy, Freenome. If you will search the Freenome, let's check it here. Okay, so if you will search for the Freenome, you will get here the your domain. Here the GoDaddy is there, Freenome is where it is. Shopify is also there, from where you can get the domain. Okay, it's providing the free domain. Let me check it. If it's providing, we can take this domain name and I will explain you the things. So all the domain like registration platform will look like this only. And let me check if it's having anything. Let's search for the available domain. If we'll get any, because Freenome earlier it was providing some free domain, but now it's not providing that free domains, that the sites is not working. Nothing. See, all the free domain name providers having the same issues. They are already always giving the same message. For the Freenome also, I just got the same. Okay, these are the domain registration platforms. So now the Freenome is not available here. Hmm, what is that? It's public DNS, it's providing it, but it's okay. Yes, it's a Freenome website. Okay, so if you want to get any like domain from here, you can search here for the domain. Let me check if I have any. If I can get any free domain, then we can check it. Have you guys registered any domain? Anyone have registered any domain?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, have you purchased any
Yeah,
for
I
any
purchased.
practice purpose or?
Yeah, for the practice purpose, I purchased.
Okay, from where you have purchased?
Route 53, sir.
Sorry?
Route 53, sir. Yeah,
Okay, you have purchased directly from the Route 53 only, right?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, let me show how to register it directly from the Route 53, because this Freenome is also not working. So, if you want, you can check if any website is providing you the free domain name registration, okay? And that will be the good things. But if you don't, then you have to purchase it, and it's not that much mandatory to purchase, okay? So, don't purchase the domain name, because I also don't have yet. Okay, I always show all those things, all the like how to create the hosted zone, all of those hands on I will show, but As I don't have the domain, I just show the normal things. Okay, I don't create the records and all, but I will show that. Let me show a few things. Okay, so domain registration, we will see it. Let me log into the AWS account. Always at this time only my network doesn't work. Okay, so your Route 53 dashboard is look like this. As I said that Route 53 have the four major functionality: DNS management, traffic management, availability monitoring, it's like health check, okay, and then domain registration. So basically now we are seeing this domain registration. So let's see first this. So now, if you want to register any specific domain name, you have to keep it here. You have to search for this domain name here, okay? And it will show all the domains list here. Okay, so nikita.com is not available, but if you want to see other options, it will provide all these options. See, $14, and this it is providing these kind of things, right? So if just assume that you want to purchase this domain name, right? So at that time what you will do, just select this. Now it is on your bucket, just like the purchasing any other things, right? So proceed to checkout. What are the things you will see here? You need to mention that the duration here, you are going to purchase for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, like minimum is 1 year, and for the 1 year it's charging you for $14. Okay, and here you have the auto renew. Auto renew means after 1 year it will automatically renew, and again it will deduct 14 rupees from your card. Okay, so basically just off it. Next thing is that after this you need to click on next. Here you need to fill your details, your contact type, okay, and then organization name. If you have any, if you want to use the for the personal, right, so you can use person. And here you can give your first name, last name, okay, email address you can provide, your phone number you can provide, okay. Here you can provide your address, and after this admin contact will be the same as your registrant contact, okay. Tech contact will be the also same, because you are using, like you are creating it for your personal use, right? Next thing is that billing contact all should be the same. Here the privacy protection you have to enable it, so that you will not get any spam mails and all, okay. So that's why you have to turn on it. After doing this, just click on next. I just have to fill it, I think. Let's fill anything. I'm not going to purchase, but Anything you can write. Let's write anything. Okay. So after this, what you have to do, you have to check the pricing here. See, it's charging you $14 and it will renew at $14. Okay, and you have taken for the 1 year and the auto renew is off. Fine. DNS management is free. Route 53 automatically create a hosted zone for each new domain you register. So when you will create this particular like this, when you will register your domain here, it will automatically create one hosted zone for each domain. Okay, so we will discuss about the hosted zone and all. Now these are your contact informations. You have to agree for their agreement, they're all the policies, terms and conditions, and then you can submit it. I'm not submitting it because it will, like, I need to pay that $14, right? So I not have, like, you, if you want to purchase the domain name, you can proceed with that, you can submit that. Then that particular domain name will be allocated to you within few minutes or within few hours also. Okay, so after registration of that, what you have to do, so this is the first task and first functionality of your Route 53. Okay, registering the domain name. Next thing is that domain name system service management. Okay, so basically it's what it will do, the Route 53 also will manage the domain name. As I said, that just like the GoDaddy is there, that will only register the domain. Okay, but the Route 53 also manage the domain names. So how it's going to manage the domain names? It's going to use the hosted zone. We will discuss about that later. Okay, to store the, to keep all the records of your servers, to keep all the records of your domains. Fine. So basically domain name, what it will do, it will give the domain name system service. It means that it will resolve your domain name, and it means that it will convert your domain name into the IP address. So this resolution also your Route 53 will do. Fine. Next thing is that health checking. Health check here, it's the name of the health check is different. It's monitoring something, right? Availability monitoring. So this is one health check, and what it will do, whenever it will send the, like, whenever, just assume that now you have given your domain name here, example.com, and here you have given two IP address. Okay, two server IP address you have provided here, IP1 and IP2. Fine. Now if here, what it will do, it will check the health of both the servers. If IP1 is not healthy, at that time what it will do, it will send it to the IP2. And this is majorly it will do, like, it can do when we will define the routing policy. Okay, so this health check is the part of this routing, traffic management. Okay, so basically this is the part of traffic management. We will see that later. So here, domain registration is done, DNS management is done, and availability monitoring, you understood, right? So now, if you want to, like, if you have registered your domain somewhere else and you want to create your own hosted zone here, what you will do, click on create hosted zone. Let me know, show you how you can create your hosted zone. Okay, so here you can give your domain name which you have registered. So I have registered, just assume that nikita.com. So I have given it. Okay, next you have to provide some descriptions about this, and next thing is that whether you want to create your public hosted zone or private hosted zone. Hosted zone is the place where we will keep the records about our domain name. Okay, so what the record we are going to keep, we are going to keep the record, like, this is the my domain name. So basically we will purchase one domain, it doesn't mean that we will not create the subdomain. This example.com is there, right? So here we have the root domain, that is the .com. Okay, and after this we also can have the subdomain. Subdomain means we can have, just assume that abc.example.com, like this. Okay, so we also can have the subdomain as well, like, after abc, under abc, if I want to create any domain, any domain name, at that time I can give xyz.abc.example.com. It's like that. Fine. So basically here we will purchase a domain name, like just assume that we have purchased a domain name called paperlife.com. If I want to deploy my any other applications for the paperlife only, if I want to want any specific application only for the AWS, right? So at that time, what we can do, we can create a domain like AWS paperlife.com. Okay, if I want the HR portal, what I will do, I will give HR paperlife.com. Like this, we can provide some subdomain. Okay, so we need to purchase only one domain name. At the end, whatever we have this paperlife.com, but other things, other domain name, we can provide it. Like we always give the domain name like this. So these domain name details we need to keep somewhere, right? So for this, we'll create records. Fine. For that, we will create record, and we also need to specify this particular domain name. It will refer to which server. So just assume that here I have given one like my application IP address, my application server IP address, right? So what I will do, I will say this particular domain name is going to refer this particular IP address server, this server. So these things we need to keep somewhere, right? These things we need to keep somewhere. So in the within hosted zone, what we will do, we will keep our like records of our domain name. So basically, if I have purchased paperlife.com, it doesn't mean that we will have only one domain name. From this one domain, we will create multiple domains, and all those multiple domains will have a single hosted zone. Okay, so one domain name, that domain name, sorry, the hosted zone we will create with this root domain name. Okay, but after this we will have multiple domains, and that will refers to the specific servers and all that we will do here. And basically, these things, these records, it will be get stored in your hosted zone. If you want all these routings, like all these records to keep within your VPC, and if you want to keep this particular domain, this paperlife.com, if you want to make it like keep it private, so that anyone, if they anyone want to use this paperlife.com, they can only use it within VPC. Okay, within your network. That time you need to create the hosted zone that will be private. Okay, so in that case you will use uh, private hosted zone. But if you want that anyone can access it from outside, at that time you can create here the public hosted zone. Fine. So when you will create here these hosted zone, it will create some records. So we will also discuss about the records types and all. So let's see here. So this is your hosted zone. See, as of now, I don't have any specific domain, but I have given it. Okay, I not have registered it, but I have given it. So let's see here. So basically, if you will see here, it's created two types of records. We will discuss about this record type. Okay. Okay, detail is more. Okay, fine. So we will discuss about these things, how to create records and all those things also we will discuss. As of now, I don't have domain, so I will not do all the hands-on. Okay. But let me show few more things. So now, this is your hosted zone already you understood, right? So basically, health check also it's done. Next, within your hosted zone, you are going to create your records, right? So there are so many types of records. So mainly, I have listed out these four types of records which we are going to use majorly. Okay, so this is the four. Another, you have SOA records. You have something called like different record types are there. Like I also didn't remember the name. I just need to search it once. Okay. So basically these four, mostly we will use this A format, like A record type, or sometimes we'll use this CNAME format. Okay. So before that, let's discuss something more about the hosted zone, then we will discuss records. Okay. So now here you have this hosted zone. We already have discussed what is hosted zone, right? The hosted zone, you can have two types: public hosted zone, private hosted zone. Fine. So anyone have any doubts till now?
It's clear.
Okay, fine. So we have two types of hosted zone, public and private hosted zone. See, how this hosted zone will work, and how your DNS resolver is going to resolve your resolve your DNS, right? That things, this image, this diagram will show that things itself. Okay, so see, whenever you will run any specific website here, so let me run this paperlife.com. I think it's the same. Let me check it. Sorry, I'm not sure about it. Okay, it's in paperlife.in. Okay, so it has opened something else. It's not secure. This is only the website, right? Okay, fine. So when I have given this paperlife.in, it simply opened uh, my application, paperlife application, right? So many things are there, all the details, whatever. This is my application, right? So how it resolved the IP? Like, see, this application has been deployed somewhere, then only we have accessed it, right? So this you have to deploy somewhere. So where you will deploy? Either in EC2, either in Kubernetes, if anywhere. If you have deployed it, you should have IP address and the port number on which your application is running. As it's a HTTPS, so mostly it will run in 443. Fine. So basically the IP address and your port number you should have to access any of the application. Now you are directly giving it paperlife.in. Okay, you are directly giving it paperlife.in. So now what this is doing, this is simply referring to any specific port number, right? It's simply referring to one specific port number, sorry, IP address where you have your application server. Fine. So now how it's getting resolved, like how it's converting it, how your browser is getting your IP address, how the DNS resolver is going to resolve, going to convert your domain name into the IP address, right? So basically, if you will see here, you have multiple, like majorly you will have here the two types of domain name. Okay, one you will have, 1 minute, one you will have the generic domain. Okay, and this is for the general knowledge, I'm saying, is sharing this knowledge. Okay, one you will have the generic domain and one you will have the geographic domain. Okay, so you have seen that .com, .in, .ch, .us, right? So many domain name .org, right? So all of those domain name you have seen. So here majorly we have two types of domain. One is the generic domain and one is the geographic domain. Okay, so generic domain, it will contain your .com, it will contain .org, like this. Okay, but the geographic domain, what it will do, it will contain some specific country name, like .in is there. Okay, .ch is there for the China, .us is there, right? So like this, each of the country is will have its own uh, geographic domain. So basically this .com, .org, .in, .ch, these are the major things we have, right? So this we will call it as a root domain. Okay, and we also call it as a high level domain. Fine. So this is your root domain and this is the high level domain. So this high level domain and this root domain will have one root domain server or root name server. Okay, so whenever you will create any, register any of the domain, at that time just assume that here I have created one domain, that is paperlife.in, right? So this paperlife.in, it have always will read our domain from right to left. Okay, so the first is that we will see after dot whatever it is there, .in. So this is my root domain name. Okay, so this is my root domain name. So whenever where you will browse for any specific domain name, at that time what it will do, it will, the request will goes like, just assume that there is the user, you have browsed for this www.example.com. Okay, so it's having the www.example.com. So what it will do, it will like whenever you will browse it, this DNS resolver, it will be available in your internet itself. What it will do, it will read your domain first. Okay, so it will read your domain from right to left. So now it got it like it's simply read it, this that this is .com is available here. So what it will do, each of the root domain name have its separate root name server. Okay, like .com have its own uh, name server, which will have all the information about all .name application, sorry, .name domain. Okay, if it's having facebook.com, that is also present there, google.com, that will be also present there. Okay, so all the informations about these domains, it will be available in the single place, that is the .com name server, that we will call it as a root name server. So this DNS resolver always will send it to this .com server. So now this root name server, what it will do, it will read this particular domain name, that is www, like what the DNS resolver will do, DNS resolver will say that to the root server, it will say, I need the information about this www.example.com. So what this DNS root server will say, DNS root server will have the information about the example.com, like where this example.com has been stored, the information about the example.com, where it has been stored. Okay. So what this DNS root server will do, DNS root server will provide the IP address where this example.com information, example.com has been stored. Okay, because example.com is one domain and www.example.com, that is one domain. Fine. So basically it will provide you one IP address where you will get this example.com. So what the DNS resolver will do, DNS resolver will send the request to that particular IP address which your root server has been provided, and it will say that do you have information about this www.example.com. Okay, just like I have given here the aws.paperlive.com. Okay, so you can mention it like this. So now this second server, this second name server, what it will do, it will say that I know about this, like I have the information about this example.com. If like this www.example.com, it will have this particular domain information, you will get it in this specific server, this route 53 one, right? So it will again give one IP address to this DNS resolver. Again, what this DNS resolver will do, this will send the request to that particular IP address, that I these servers which we are talking about, right? So these servers are nothing but the containers or some virtual machines, you can say that. Okay, it's kind of container itself. So it will send the request to that. So this server will say, yes, I have information about this www.example.com. Then it will convert it, like it will give the, it will have information. So it will give the IP address to your DNS resolver. Then the DNS resolver will send it to your browser, and your browser will access your application, and that page, that web page will be visible to you. So whenever you will give any domain name in the background, these things will happen. Okay, the DNS resolver will resolve your particular domain name in these steps. Fine. So instead of this www.example.com, you can keep here the aws.paperlive.com, and this will also happens the same. Okay, it will send to the .com server. .com server will have the information about your paperlive.com, but it will say that this paperlife.com is available in name server 2. At that time it will send the request to name server 2, and name server will have the information about www dot like your sorry, your aws.paperlife.com, where it has been stored. So it will give the IP address to DNS resolver. Again, this will send to request to another name server. That name server will provide IP address. Then DNS resolver will provide that IP address to your browser, and browser will access your application using that IP address. So this is the process which will happens in background. even in this case of Route 53, even in case of any of your DNS service if you will use. Okay, so this is how your domain name is going to resolve and convert it into the specific IP address. Fine. So anyone have any doubts here? Okay. Now, here in our case, this Route 53 is the DNS, this is the main server where we have our application detail, application server details. So in such case, what we are doing, we are using our Route 53. This root server that is already that will be given by your .com communication or something. You can say that. Okay. So sorry, organizations or something, you can say that. So .com is the common one. Okay, and here you will also get this name servers for your example.com if it's common, like when you will create your domain name, right? Like I have taken the domain name like paperlife.com. So at that time it will create one name server, so that this is that name server. Okay, and which will resolve your domain name, like which will give you the IP address. We call that that particular name server, that name server we will call that as a authoritative server. Okay, so basically, why? Because it have the authorizations to resolve it to your IP address. Fine. So this is your high level domain name. This .com is the high level domain name. This is your root name server. This is your authoritative server because it have the authorization to convert to the IP address, right? Okay, so this is how your hosted zone, this is how it will work. Fine. So within this, as I said that this Route 53 have the information about this www.example.com. Just like that, I can have multiple, just like in example.com, instead of www, I can keep any other name. Okay, just assume that abc.example.com, xyz.example.com, right? So all those information which will have this Route 53 will have those information. Okay, so for this www.example.com, I just assume that we are routing the traffic like this. Okay, so here we have www.example.com. This is going to route the traffic to this particular IP address. Instead of this, if I'm giving abcexample.com, it's going to route the traffic to, just assume that, this IP address. Okay, so one more is there, xyz.example.com. This is going to route the traffic to your this this particular IP address. So all these informations, who is going to store it? The Route 53. Okay, and Route 53, it's going to store this as a record. Okay, this is going to say how it's going to store it within hosted zone. You will have records. So we will create records for the multiple. Like for this domain, we will create a separate record. For this domain, we will create a separate record. For this domain, we will create the separate records. Okay. So like this, we can create multiple, we can have multiple domain name and we can create multiple records. And these are not the domain name, these are the subdomains. And actually your domain is this, right? Example.com is your domain and these are your subdomains. Fine. So here what we have, when you will create the records, you will have multiple records type. Okay. Like few record type we are going to discuss. I said like A and 4 times A. All are those record types. Here it's written it. Okay. And I think we have more records. We will, if I will have that notes, I will share it with you. Okay. So basically here, these are the major formats. So for to collect this records, we have some format. Okay, so first of all, there is the format that is A format. Okay, so A format is whatever we are doing here. Okay, so directly this is referring to your directly IPv4 address. if your domain name directly it's referring to the IPv4 address, that's record, type of records we call that as a format record. Okay. Next you have IP, 4 times a format. Instead of this IPv4 address, if you are using IPv6 address here, okay, if you will use IPv6 address here, at that time it will be your 4 time a format. Okay. And then you have the CNAME format. CNAME format is what, like if you have here, this is your one domain, right? From one domain to, if you want to change it to another domain, just like instead of giving any IP address what you want, here you want to give a DNS of load balancer, a DNS of your CloudFront, right? So at that time you must have to use this CNAME record type. Okay. Next you have the name server record type. Name server record type, it's just like in hosted zone we have this, right? So it's for this specific we have, we can divide it to the multiple parts, and we can simply use some name, some alias we can use to route the traffic, sorry, to send the request from this to resolve this DNS. Okay. So basically instead of this, if you will use any specific name, okay, like if you will have, if you want to change it to another domain name, if you want to convert it to another domain name, so just like that you can use here. Basically we'll use it for the same types of domain. If you have, just assume that instead of this xyz, what you have, abc.example.com. So in these cases, you will use the name server. So by default, when you will create a like hosted zone, your name server, this NS record type, and your SOAS one more record type is there, that will get created automatically. Okay, but majorly in real time, we will use this A format, or sometimes we'll use the CNAME, because we will convert it to the different domain, right? So like you will use the CloudFront domain, you will use the load balancer, so in such case you will use it. So basically in real time we'll use A format and CNAME. Fine. So these are the record types. So this is how you can use here the Route 53. Few more things are there that we will discuss later. Okay. So now, if you want to create any record, so when you will create record, there only you will get this. Here you need to provide the subdomain. So I'm giving here the awsnikita.com. I can provide it like this. Here you can select your record type. Okay, which record type you want to select, here you can select it. Next thing, here you have the TTL. TTL is the time, like it's time for how long your domain, like how long your domain is going to cache your data. Okay, so if it's going to cache the data, if you don't want to cache your data, just keep it 0, but recommended values is 62 this much. Okay, it's like 2 days to till 2 days it will cache the data. So basically I don't want it, so you can keep it like 10 seconds or 30 seconds, 20 seconds, like this you can keep it. Fine. So it will cache the data for 20 seconds. It's like that. So this is the value. If it's a record type A, at that time you have to provide here the IP address. So my IP address is just I'm giving here the 23344 like this. Okay. If you have any application server, you have to give here the server name. So it's done. Next is this routing policy. We will discuss it later. Let's keep it simple only. Okay. So like this, you can create a record. See, I not have registered my domain, so I cannot use it. Okay. But if you will see, if you want to access your application using this, you can access it directly. So as of now, that's 1122. That is that particular IP address doesn't exist, right? So you will be not able to access anything from here. Okay. But one more thing, if you want to check the details about that, what you can do, let me show you. Like your this particular domain name is working or not, you can also check it from this. I'm showing you using the Cloud Shell, okay? Because there is no IP address with that server, so that's why it's showing like it's not accessible. What happens to this? It's preparing this terminal. Let's wait for some time. Let me check if it's ns lookup is available there. Okay, it's not available. So let's me install it something sudo yum install. See, your Cloud Shell is the CLI which your AWS will provide directly. Okay, so from the console you can use this CLI. Basically, it's based on your Linux, so you can use all of your Linux commands, and basically it's based on your Amazon Linux. Okay, so it's installed now. If you will run this nslookup command, see nslookup, and I'm going to give my domain name. You know that this lookup command, what it will do, it will show the details, it will resolve your domain name. So let's see here what it is saying. It's giving some server address and basically can't find this nx domain. Okay, server can't find this. Okay, what I have given. Okay, sorry, I have given the wrong one. Let me edit this. So if you want to edit this record name, I just have to provide only AWS. Sorry. As of now, I think I not have registered the domain name. Because of that reason also it will not provide the specific IP address. Okay. Hmm. Okay, it's not providing a proper IP address, can't find it. Okay, because of this domain name only. Fine. Basically, it's not registered, so mainly it will not provide any details about that. So like this, if you have your own domain name registered, you can try with this. Okay. So anyone was asking something? Someone was asking something, right? No one. Okay, I heard someone said something like that. Fine. So like this, you can create a record. So here you have the routing policy. We will discuss that as well. Okay. So like this here, I have given only one IP address, right? So if you want to create multiple IP, if you want to keep the multiple IP address in one hosted zone only, let me show few more things here. If you will create here, just give the subdomain. Here you can give multiple values. Like if you have multiple application server, right? So in that case, what you can give here one IP address. After this, just enter it and then enter one IP address again. Okay, like this. Okay, sorry, I have given only one. So like this, you can provide the multiple IP addresses here. Okay, so multiple targets you can give here, multiple values you can provide here for one subdomain. Fine. So this is one thing. And then here you will have the simple routing and all. We will discuss that now. Let's see. Okay, so here if you will give the multiple values at that time, the routing policy, how it will work. Simple routing policy, like if you will give here your multiple values, at that time it will send like it will directly, it can send the like one time it will send send the request to one server, then another server. It's like that. Okay, it can send the request anyways. Like routing the traffic means it simply work like a load balancer. Okay, so basically, if you will see this traffic management means it's going to manage the routing of your request. So basically, if you will give this particular domain name, and for this, if you have multiple values here, if you have multiple servers here, so how it's going to access those servers, which server is going to access first, which server is going to access later, right? That is your routing policy. Fine. So basically, now if you will see, just assume that here I have given one more IP address. Fine. So now, which server is going to access that? That is the routing policy. If it's a simple policy, it will take according to its like something, its load and all. Okay. So we will discuss that. Let's see from here. Okay. So in this simple routing policy, what it will do, you will decide where you want to give like sorry, I was talking about the weighted simple policy. It's simply you, if you will keep simple, it will simply route the traffic. Route the traffic from to this server one, or so, sometimes in server two. Like one by one, it can route the traffic like by balancing the load. Okay, so this is the simple routing policy. Just like your network load balancers, one time it will send to server one time it will send to server two. It's like that. Fine. Next thing you have failover routing policy. In failover routing policy, when you will decide it here, from both of these from these two servers, one servers will be your failover server. You will get this. Okay, like one server you will keep it in. You here you have two things, active and passive. Okay, so we will use only one server actively, and one another server will be passive. So here I have two servers, and in both of the servers I have deployed the same application, right? So what I want to use this particular server only in case of failover of the first server. Now, as I said that this health check will be done, right? So in simple policy, if you will use at that time, the health check will be not integrated. Okay, so now if you will use this like failover policy, at that time this health check will be there. So in this case, your route 53 is also going to check the health of your instance, right? Health of your server, health of the targets. So basically, just assume that this particular target one, this server, if it will fail, at that time this particular route 53 will not send send it to this target, it will send it to this target. Now this will become active, okay, and this will become passive. Fine. So if you have two servers, one will be active, one will be passive, right? So in case of failover, the another one will become active. Then in if it will fail, that time this route 53 will send the traffic to this. So basically it's working like a route 53 itself, sorry, your load balancer itself, right? But we have few more policy that we will discuss here. So this is your failover policy. Next, you have geolocation routing policy. Geolocation routing policy means, just assume that what you have this server deployed in Mumbai region. Okay, so what you want for India, you want to use this server, and for US or for Europe, let's see, for Europe you want to use this server because it's just assume that it is present in your Frankfurt region. So basically, what you are going to do for India, you are going to use uh, this particular whenever if anyone, any user want to access your application, and if that user is from India, at that time the request will goes to this server, and if that user is from Europe, that time request will goes to this. So this is your geolocation policy. Okay, so according to the location, it's going to routing the traffic, routing your request. Fine. So basically, this is your geolocation routing policy. Next, you have geo proximity routing policy. So in this case, okay, just a minute. Okay. So in this case, you will define the bias. Okay. So now in this particular policy, what we'll have, just assume that you have your servers, one in India, one is in Europe. Okay. So in this case, if you will give here the bias, if you will give bias 0 for both at the time, just within India, just take the example of within India. Okay. Let me show you few things here. So till now, if anyone have any doubts in this routing policy like failover, simple, and geographical, geolocation, right? So anyone have any doubts till now?
No.
Okay.
No doubt, but can you give 2 minutes of break? Just continue.
Yeah, sure. You can take break and then we will again repeat this routing policy. Okay, that will be good, I think. I was about to give you the like break, but this is the last topic for the Route 53. That's why I was just waiting. Okay, fine then, guys. You can take the break. Okay, no worries. Fine. Okay, you can take 5 minutes break.
That's sure.
Okay. Okay, so everyone back?
Yes.
What about girls?
Yes.
Okay, fine then. 1 minute, let me share the screen. Okay, so let's discuss it again. Okay, so first is that simple routing policy. Simple routing policy, you will directly give your hosted zone and you will directly provide it, right? Your domain name, and you will provide some multiple servers. So basically it will simply route it like one by one. It will provide, like, if it have multiple servers, it will route the traffic sometimes to server 1, sometimes to server 2, sometimes to server 3, according to its convenient, right? So it will route that. That is simple policy. So with the simple policy, you will not get the health check. So health check always depends on your routing policy as well. Okay, so for other than simple policy, you will get health check for all those policy. Fine. So here that is simple policy. Next is that failover policy. Failover policy will have always a backup server. Okay, like we will keep that server as a backup. Like that will be in passive mode. Passive mode means we will not route the traffic to that particular server. Whenever something will happen to the first server, then it will send the traffic to another server. Okay, then another, that passive server will become active. So that is the failover policy. Next, you have geolocation policy, geolocation routing policy. So geolocation routing policy, here we will define the server's location, where it is located exactly. Okay, so basically what we'll do, if we have two servers and one is in India, one is in Europe, so at that time what we'll do, Indian peoples will access only the Indian servers, and like servers which is in India, European peoples will access which is present in Europe, that this server. So basically, if you want to divide your servers according to your geographical region, right? So at that time, you can use this geolocation routing policy. Okay. So next you have geo proximity routing policy. So this is also according to the location only, but here we'll define some bias and all. Okay. So let's see here. Just assume that this is India, and here what we have, here I have one server, and here also I have one server. Now, if you will define bias 0 for both, at that time it will be simple routing only. It means that if someone will be near to, just assume that I have 5 user who is accessing it. Okay, sorry, 4 user, just take it. You have 4 user who is accessing it. So if you will define bias 0 for both, in that case, what will do? It will divide this into two parts. Two users will access this server, two users will access this server. So according to the resource location, it will divide it. Okay, so nearer to these two, it will they will access this server. It's like that. If you will define something else, now, if you will define, it's a bias here, the 50% or something, if you will define here the bias 50%, 60%, like that. So at that time, what it will do here, in such case, more people will get access. Like if it's a 50%, then here, if you have 4 users, the 3 users will access this particular server. Like it will divide into this 3/4, like that. Okay, it will not divide into the like 50% weightage will be here, and another your 25% will be also here itself, because earlier also 25% was here, right? So only the 25% load will goes to this server. So this is like your this geo proximity routing policy. Fine. So next you will have few more routing policies there. Latency routing policy. It depends on your location, and always depends on the like distance of your server. Okay, so if you will select this latency routing policy, in such case, like if you have provided multiple server IP address and multiple servers location, at that time it will only if you want to access any like applications, it will always send the request to the server which is nearest to you. Okay, so always it will send to your nearest server. Fine. Okay, and this you only can use in a private hosted zone, not in a public hosted zone. Fine. Next, you have IP-based routing policy. When you will have the group of IP address of multiple servers, it's work like a just like I have shown for the simple routing policy, right? The same way, but here you will have all the IP addresses of multiple servers. Multi-value answer that we already have seen. If you will have multiple values, here we already have it, right? Multiple values you will have for one domain only, that is a multi-value one. Fine. Next, weighted routing policy. This is also one important things. So just assume that here I have three servers. Okay, and what you will do, you will decide some weight in this particular three servers. So what I want, these are my three application server. I want 70% of weight is here in this server. I want 30% here, and I want 20% of weight is here. See, it's not necessary to uh, the sum it should not be 100%. Okay, like it can be 100%, but it's not compulsory that it will be only 100%. So it depends on 100% of this servers, like mainly 70% of your load weightage will be here in this server, 30% weightage will goes to this server, and 20% weightage will goes to this server. It's like that. Okay, so if you will select this kind of like this routing policy, at that time this route 53 will route the traffic accordingly. It will send 70% weightage to this, 30% weightage to this, and 20% weightage to this. It's like that. Okay, so here you are going to define this weightage. So basically it can be 100%, it can be more than 100%. It's like the 100% of one server. Okay, so basically this is how it's going to route the traffic in this weighted routing policy. So these are the routing policy. These are like we already have seen the records types, and we already have discussed about the hosted zone. Like majorly we have discussed everything here in our Route 53. So basically you also can like if you are going as an experienced candidate, then also you can answer many things in Route 53. We have covered many things, multiple things here. Majorly for the freshers, you will not get much questions from the Route 53. Okay. So let me know if you guys have any doubts here. Okay, let me show one more things. We already have seen the record type with simple routing policy, right? So if you will select any other routing policy, like just assume that you are selecting here the weighted route policy, you have to select here the weightage for this. Total sum, like total you can select till 255. Okay, so just select the weightage here. After this, you can add one more, and then you can add another records. You can add more, and for those that server, you can add here one more like one more weight, like that you can define here. Next is simple routing is there. Failover is here. Here you can select here the choose type, primary or secondary. You will have primary where you will get the request, and secondary will be the passive one. Fine. Just like that, for the latency, IP based also you can select here where you will provide here the IP based means basically multiple IPs. Like just assume that you have one VPC CIDR range, right? So specifically here you can select your CIDR range in case of IP based routing policy means you will route the traffic to the specific CIDR range. And here you can select the health check as well. Okay, so basically you have to like for the IP based, for weighted, except this simple routing, for everything you will get this health check. For this simple routing, you will not get the health check here. Okay, so this is all about your Route 53 in very details. But majorly the things I don't have the domain name, right? So that's why I'm not able to show you few things how you can route, like how you can connect with your EC2 and all. Majorly you have to provide the IP address of your server. That's it. Okay, other than that, everything is same. What it's saying, we are not able to. and hosted zone except the default NS and okay, we need to delete this. Now I can delete it. Fine. So let me know if you guys have any doubts now. Okay. So few topics are there that we have left with only this particular module where we need to discuss about the like definition of these topics. Okay, like ECR, ECS, system management, security hub. Okay, configs. We will discuss about these things. Fine. Billing cost reports. I think we already have seen the bill explorer. Fine. One more thing. Let me show one more thing there. That is the resource explorer. Resource Explorer is the service which will provide you how you can check, like if you want to check how many resources are present, how many resources are available running in your EC2 instance, right? So at that time you can use this Resource Explorer. One more thing I forgot to tell you here, that is it's a global service, as well as for hosted zone it will charge you 0.50 dollar per month. It's not comes under your free tier. Okay, it's not free for hosted zone. It will charge $0.50 per month, and the registration of your domain, that is separate. Fine. But if you will register your domain from this Route 53 only, at that case I think it's not charging you, because when we were registering it, it was showing like hosted zone is free hosted zone, one hosted zone it has created already. Fine. Now let's go to this Resource Explorer. And now, just assume that you are getting the cost and now you are not there in this Cost Explorer, you can check which resource is costing you more. But if you want to list out all of your resource which is available in your AWS account, you can check this Resource Explorer. So in Route 53, do you guys have any doubt?
Hi, Nikita, I have a doubt.
Hmm.
So in Route 53, we have one feature like route traffic.
Route traffic. Yes.
Yeah. How it differ from route table?
A route table is different thing, right?
Yeah.
Route table, what that is doing majorly, that is routing the traffic uh within VPC, right? Like within VPC it's routing the traffic to outside, it's like that. You can compare it with the load balancer.
Yeah.
See, your route table will not allow you to access your application, right? Like, have you used route table to access your application server? See,
No.
route table we have used in VPC, and that is for the communication purpose we have used it. Here also somewhere this routing policies, these policies are also using somewhere the route tables, and whatever the policy we are defining here, right? And these kind of things. These are nothing but this is a kind of route table like entries only. Okay, but
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly we are not using here the route table. Like here we are not using VPC route table. That is different. But for the routing policies and all, it always use the route like your routing table and routers like that. Okay. So that is the internal things in Route 53. So basically that the routers, that routing tables, your Route 53 only contains, and we don't have idea about that. And AWS will not provide any information about that. Okay, it's not provided any information.
Fine.
So this is the different kind of routing. That is the different kind of routing. That's only the difference. Okay.
Yeah. Fine. Fine.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
So this Route 53 we will use only for AWS, right? Non-AWS resource we cannot use.
We can do it. See, if you have your as like application deployed in your local or deployed in your Azure VM, right? So what you can do, you directly can provide the IP address of that server here. It can route the traffic there. It's a global service and majorly you can use from to route your traffic to anywhere. Okay. So this Route 53, it's not like only for the AWS. You also can use for any other cloud platform. Also, you can use for your on-premises. Majorly, it's a, DNS service, right? Domain name service.
Is there any disadvantage in this case?
Uh, Disadvantages are not there here much. Like which kind of disadvantages you are asking for? Like
No, no, not anything like that. Any failure and anything like that. Any is there anything like that, or everything is okay?
no, majorly if you will see as of now, in the market for this DNS service, right? Majorly used services this Route 53 only.
Okay.
Okay, even if the people are using Azure or GCP or something, right? So they are using this Route 53 only. In Azure, I don't think we have any DNS server. Let me check it. DNS service. Azure DNS, Azure DNS is there, but that is not that much popular, okay, in Azure. So majorly, if people are using Azure Cloud also, they always use for the DNS. They prefer to use Route 53. Okay,
Yes.
fine. Any other questions, anyone? Okay, fine. So we have time. That's why I'm simply showing you few more extra topics and all. I'm simply telling you few things, okay, that you should know. Like for the general knowledge, no one will ask you an interview, but you should know it for your use purpose, okay? So this is your resource explorer. So if you want to check your resources at that time, you can turn on your resource explorer, and here that resource explorer will give you the all resources which you have created within this account, even in one reason, even in multiple reason. Okay, one more thing is that here you will get this tag editor. Like if you have in real time, always will use tag for each resource, so that we will get to know this resource has been created for this application. Okay, it means that like we will not use a single account for a, like we will not use one AWS account for a single application, right? Because we can deploy multiple application in one AWS account. So we can do that. But here, how we will differentiate those using the tag. So basically here, if you have any specific tag, you can provide this tag. And if you have any specific resources, you can provide it. Okay. So what I want, instead of this tag, I want to list out all of my reasons, like within this AP South one, I want all my resources. So if you want a specific resource, you can select that as well. Like EC2 only if you want, you can select that. Fine. So here you can click on search resources. So if you will do the search resources, it will load all of your resources which you have already. One internet gateway is there. Okay. So it's showing many things. Security groups are here, and this have some tag. Okay. Which I have created for something else. So basically it's providing these are KMS key which we have created sometimes when created the ebase volumes and also by default. So these are the resources which is available in your AWS account. So we not have created these resources, but whenever you will create any particular resource, like when we create EC2, at that time it will also create this network interface ENI and all, right, for providing you the public IP address, right, public IP address and private IP address. So this network interface, what it will do, it will provide the IP address and your EC2 DNS, which is there, right? Including your IP address, you will get one domain name for your EC2, right? So who will provide it? This network interface, ENI will provide it. So by default, it will create these things. So by default, these are the resources are available. This will be not chargeable. Majorly this ENI and the security group, these are not chargeable. Okay. So you can check it now. If you will see, if you want to remove these resources, you can check the name and you can remove the resources. So like this, if you are getting any bills and all, you can search for the resource here. And if you want to export it to your CSV, you can export it. Like you will get an Excel sheet there. You can check your all these resource name and all the details you will get there. You can download it there. Fine. So this is the resource explorer. One you already know, that is Coast, and Coast Explorer is there, right? Billing and cost management, we already have seen many things here. In this billing and cost management only, you will get the Coast Explorer. So let me show you here itself. Okay. So here also, if you want to check it, like which resource is costing you more and all, right? So in that case, you can check this Cost Explorer. Okay. So in this Cost Explorer, you can keep here some filters. Just assume that I want to check the cost for EC2. So I will check here EC2. Uh, select all EC2. Okay. So I have selected this all EC2 and apply it. So it will show the cost for EC2. So if you will see for the EC2, it has for EC2 instance, it has charges to 11.16 and for EC2 other it has charged me 0.02. So total is 11.18. So for the EC2 total is 11.1 like 11.18 in March. Okay. If you want to get for the separate months, you can also get it. So I think in March only I have created this account, so that's why it's not giving more. Yes, in March only I have created this account, right? So that's why it is not showing previous months. But in your case, I think if you have created accounts earlier, you will get here the Jan, December, all cost, you will get it. And for the April, it should show, but here it's acha, date range is there. Okay, for April, it's not selecting. I think it's not completed yet. That's why it's not showing it. Okay, because it's charge you always the monthly. So for this month, it's not giving any bills for me. So it's not showing anything. So after completion of this month, I think it will show. Fine. So like this, if you want any specific service, you can do it. If you want to check for any specific reason, you can check it from here. Okay. And if you want any specific usage type, any specific resources here within EC2, if you want only the for the EC2, if you want for security group, if you want any specific resource cost like your snapshot and all EBS snapshot. So that case, in such case, you can give here the resources. After that, here availability zone and all very like here you will get multiple options, multiple filter options that you can apply, and you can check it here, right? And one more thing you have, that is the important things, calculator. mm, AWS pricing calculator, let me share it with you. This is a important things, like if you will do any POC and all in any company, and majorly if you will join any startups, right? So in such case, what will happens, like when if you will use any of your like if you will say that we are going to use EC2, and they will ask you for the preferences and for the suggestions, which resource you are going to use and which one will be better, which reason will be better, whether you have whether the AWS is better, like it will be cheaper, or your Azure will be cheaper, right? So in such case, what you will do, whenever you will use any resource, you must have to know the budget. And whenever you want to decide any, like if you want to calculate the budget, first you have to create the estimate from here. Okay, so let's see, let me show you few things. Mm, fine. So here you can calculate your uh, budget here, like you can calculate how much it will charge. Okay, so just assume that search by the location. Okay, here you have to search for the service. So what I want to use EC2. So let's select EC2, and here you have to select all these type. Tenancy type, whether you want shared instance, dedicated host, or dedicated instance or dedicated host. So I want shared instance. Select it. Operating system, which one you will use, you can select it from here. Number of instance, how much you want, you can select it from here. And here you can select which instance type you want. If you want T2 medium and all, you can select it from here. So I have selected it. Fine. Next thing is that any specific memory, if you want, just select this. Next is payment option. Whether you want saving, like saving plans, whether you want instance saving plan like on demand, spot instance, right? So many things are there. These are for the reserved instance. So if you want on demand, let's see. And now if you want to add your EBS volumes and all, you can add here as well. Detail monitoring, if you want, at that time you can add it. Okay, data transfer or something additional cost, if you want something to add here, you can simply specify here some cost and all. And then what you can do, you can save and view the summary. So it will charge you this much for 200 something, 200 days or something it has calculated. Okay, so monthly cost will be 33.87 US dollar for this particular configuration of your instance. So it's like that. You can calculate your budget, you can calculate the estimate from here. Fine. So any doubts till now?
No.
Okay. So you can do it from here. So these are some extra knowledge, some general knowledge kind of things. Okay. So if you guys have any doubts and any questions related to any of the any services, let me know. And you guys already know the Terraform, right? So now you can try with the Terraform codes. You can create multiple resources. Just create sometimes the RDS or try to create VPC, try to create S3 using your Terraform. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine then. We have completed with the topic. So now we can wind up the session. If you have any doubts, let me know. Otherwise, we can wind up for today. Okay, you guys can vote and then you can leave the session if you don't have any question. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, Nikita.
Yes.
Nikita, I have a doubt.
Yes, Pradeep, tell me.
For deploying the domain in a host zone, you just have, they
Hmm.
have two categories. Right? One is public and another one is private, right?
Hmm.
So in public, you have mentioned about creating a subdomains. But
Hmm.
in private, you just mention about it's only related to VPC inside the VPC. You just mentioned it. In private also,
Huh.
you can create a subdomains. You can deploy it, right?
Yes. Yes, you can create subdomains. You can have in private.
Private also
Like
we can have, right? Mm.
yes, both the host region work similar, but only the difference is that privacy things. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay, okay,
public domain it will be accessible publicly, and private domain within VPC will use that.
okay. You didn't
Okay,
mention that. That's why I asked actually.
okay, okay. Sorry,
So
I think I
I
forgot that.
have another thing also. Oh, you
Hmm.
just mentioned about the IP based, right? The creating
Hmm.
policies. You just
Hmm.
mentioned it's related to CCADR range, right?
Hmm.
Okay, I don't know. I get it how it really works.
So basically, if you will have a specific CIDR range resources, right, and you want to route the traffic to that specific CIDR range,
Mm-hmm.
so in such case, you can use that. Like, just assume that you have some resources, like you have one application in one VPC you have created, and within that VPC, you have your 5 servers, and all of those 5 servers contain one application.
Mm.
Fine. So instead of giving IP address of each servers, what you can do, you can provide a CIDR range directly.
Okay,
So
okay.
because whatever CIDR range you have given for your VPC, the same CIDR range it has
Yeah, I
used for
understand.
all those servers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, got it,
Like,
got it.
so it's like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Fine.
yeah, yeah.
Please share the notes. I think DBMS notes you have not shared.
Yes, sorry for that. I not have updated it. I will upload the same. Okay.
Okay, and today's also today's one route.
Yes, sure. Today's I will share.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else who left for the poll? Okay. Thanks everyone. Hemant, do you have any question?
Sorry, no, not actually. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.